My name's Yufani Mbolo. I'm actually today from Berlin, but originally I'm from a place in Africa called post-colonial Cameroon. I call it post-colonial Cameroon because it's a colonial construct. Actually, the state that we have as Cameroon now is a combination of different geopolitical strategies in order to bring people in this area, this geographical area, together as one. And I think this is what we're going to talk about today also, about the colonial effects of our nation states that we have now. So, like I said, from post-colonial Cameroon, and I've lived in Germany for the past 22 years. What can I say about myself? I'm an activist within the community, the African Black community in Germany. Most specifically, I'm the initiator of PEACE, which is a peer exchange of African communities for empowerment. These are just things that I'm saying in order for us to have a background about me. Normally, I just tell people that I'm a community organizer within the African community. And professionally, I'm a forester. I have a doctorate in forest sciences and political sciences, and I actually lecture at the Ali Solomon University in Berlin. Why we are here today in Bremen, first of all, I would say Bremen is a very old city in Germany, and in one way or the other has contributed or has or partook in our exploitation, I would call, yeah, be it in times of slavery or in times of colonialism. And why are we here today? We are here today to remember Africans who have died trying to cross the Mediterranean and also the Sahara Desert trying to come to Europe. And we're also going to remember actually or to celebrate the lives of those who succeeded in crossing and those who are still struggling to make their voices heard, but also those who are struggling to build a sense of life in this global pandemic that we call the world. Yeah, and in that, I think we're going to try to discuss the ideology of African Renaissance, if we call it that way, and to see how it emboldens or it weakens our possibilities of coming together as Africans. The paradox actually is that during the colonial times, during the times of enslavement, enslaving African people, kidnapping them and taking them to the Americas and to Europe, and also the colonial times when liberation fighters were being banished from their areas of jurisdiction, or call it from their different African states at that time to other places. They were also deported to other parts because they were out to organize resistance against the white man. So this said, we see actually that people were being taken from Africa outside, people were being banished or deported. And in our present days, in the contemporary times, we see people in their thousands struggling free willingly, I would say, first to come to Europe. So it's a paradox because before we're being kidnapped and forced to come here, and now we are coming here on our own. Why do I say free willingly? Because I think people definitely are looking for greener pastures. People want to live a better life, and they're looking for the places where they are connected to. And Europe has a very, very strong connection to Africa. That's why you see a lot of Africans coming to Europe to look for greener pastures, but also for adventure. Why not? Yeah. But on the other side, it is not willingly because most of our dictatorial governments are being still supported by Europe. Yeah. So I call it a neo-colonial times that we find ourselves now. And I think it's going to be one of the points that we'll discuss about the African Renaissance, because it's one of the strategies that we're trying to use to go about the different borders that Europe has created for us. Yeah, and these are the aspects that we're talking about. So you have on the one hand people coming, on the other hand Europe is even trying to block this coming and doing selective choosing at times. I mean, not at times. Even now, they have external borders, yeah, in different African countries, and they have created different electronic mechanisms in order to stop the travel from Africa to Europe or to other parts of the world. But again, there is, in certain places, there are what we call somehow autonomy of migration, where even the highest technologies cannot stop us from coming. But one of the reasons I also said before, because of the connection that we have with our exploiters. Yeah, these are the things that we're going to talk about. In a nutshell, it's about the struggles of our people coming to Europe, and on the other hand, the possibility to use these people coming to Europe, but also those in the motherland, to fight for an African Renaissance that has been going on for decades now. Yeah, I mean, when we talk of African Renaissance, we talk about remembering, not remembering in the sense of memory, but bringing back the different communities, the African communities, because before the colonial times, we also had our states, we had our empires. And when the white man came, all these empires and states were destroyed, most of them at least. I mean, if you look at some of the stable African countries today, which are stable economically, socially, but also politically, you can trace their stability back to the pre-colonial times because they were together as a people. But most of the countries that are unstable today are the concoction of the white man. When the white man came, destroyed the society, chose people from different areas to bring together, and these are the conflicts that we are having today. So these are also things that we are going to talk about. So remembering means bringing back these communities together, and it has to do with different ideologies. I mean, there is no one ideology that is going to enhance or successfully portray the African Renaissance. You have Gavism, you have Pan-Africanism, you have different ideologies that come together to make this fit. And we as Africans have to use these efforts to come together again, because without coming together, we are never going to beat the white man. Yeah. Well, about responsibilities, I think on the one hand, it's clear. He who goes out and massacres and kills, destroys, plunders, is responsible for whatever thing comes after that. And I think the responsibility in this part, Europe bears a very, very strong hand. But again, I wouldn't stop at that, because I think responsibility is also mutual. I think we are also in an age now where we can read the white man's books, we can listen. I am even talking in English, is the white man's language. We can communicate and we understand where the white man wants to take us. There are some people that get confused, actually, thinking we are always going to be leaving the Europeans responsible for what is happening to us. We also bear a responsibility in that. Yeah? We understand from time immemorial that one of the greatest weapons of ruling someone is to divide them. If we can understand this one, then we can also understand that in order to beat our oppressor, we have to come together. It's not rocket science to understand that. But that until today, we are still divided. And that's what we are going to talk about too. We are still divided in different nationalities, different communities, different countries, nation states that were made by Europe. And our misleaders, I will call them, still try to enhance this democracy that was brought to us through colonialism, and it's continuing through coloniality. I think it's a problem to think that it's only the white man that is responsible for it. And I think this is what I want to tell, or that I've been telling also our African brothers and sisters, that we also bear a very big responsibility in our oppression. Yeah, and we talk about reparations, we talk about acknowledgement. I don't think with the way we are so weak and disorganized, the European countries are ever going to apologize sincerely. I think as divided as we are never going to get reparations. Because first, if you're divided, who has the claim for reparation? Yeah? You have our brothers and sisters that are in the Americas for centuries now. They are claiming reparation. They are connected to African families that were destroyed during the time of kidnap and enslavement. These African families also have the right for reparations. We have people whose lives have been destroyed during the times of colonialism. They also have the right to ask for reparation. There was nothing good in colonialism. Nothing good in colonialism. And if I have to repeat that one again in order to make a point, there was nothing good in colonialism. And everything that was taken from us, our natural resources, they are still being taken now also. Our people, our culture that was destroyed, our institutions that were laid to bear, all these, we need them back. But the white man is never going to give them back to us. We have our artifacts also here. They make money, profit for the white society, for the European society. And we even come and look at them and pay, which is actually ours. They are not giving them back to us because they know we are not united. But the moment we stand as a voice, as a people, and us, and not only us, and take it by force, then they would start knowing where we are going. And I don't think we've reached that stage yet. I pray that we should reach that stage before, or in my lifetime, and I pray that when we reach that stage, we should never turn back. If everything would go well in 5 years, or even in a shorter time, or even in 10 or 15 years, I think it would be the beginning. Because just like Che Guevara or the Cuban leader Castro said, the revolution won is just the beginning of the challenges. Yeah. So a revolution doesn't end when you win that particular beginning stage. The continuation and the keeping up of that revolution is the most challenging thing. And I would also tell my brothers and sisters here, because that's how I was also. When I was fighting on the streets, trying to get my papers and whatever thing, I thought after I got my papers, everything would be fine. Yeah? But racism is so deeply entrenched in this society that you have to fight till you die. Yeah, you have to fight till you die. That means for me, political activism should run in every African's blood. Yeah, it shouldn't be something that you think after winning the fight of getting papers, everything is fine. And that is each individual African that gets a paper in this Europe, in this continent, should see that as a success of his or her own revolution, but should know that this revolution has not ended. It still has to continue until the whole of Africa is liberated. And one thing that I would say very openly in the camera, and that's why some European politicians, they tried to prevent it. When the white man came to Africa, they did not build Africa. They took from Africa and built their cities. I'm standing here, a lot of nice building, tarred roads, beautiful cars, and whatever technology they have. It's because they took from us. And whoever African thinks they would come, stay, and build, and stay here, I would tell them they have to scatter the house. They have to scatter the system in order to live here in peace. So if I build my house and you come as a stranger, I mean stranger in the sense, it's hypothetical, right? Because I don't think I'm a stranger in the world, but hypothetical in the sense that if I build my house and a visitor comes inside, I decide where this visitor stays, be it in the toilet, be it in the boys' quarters, or in my room. But if I want to own that house also, because I think I helped build that house, we have to change the system of the house also. We all have to decide where we all live, and it has to be on equal basis. And this is not the case. We are coming here like visitors. We see ourselves like visitors. We are not visitors because this place was built with our resources. So if you think this place is yours and you have not abolished racism, you're lying. And you cannot abolish racism without freeing Africa. Because the racism that we have today originated from the concept of seeing Africans as inhumans, as second class, as animals. And as long as Africa is not seen as equal, racism will never finish in this world. So if we don't build Africa with ourselves, wherever we are, we have to think Africa. And if we don't do that, we will never be welcomed in this continent. Yeah.